Boom, perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the humanitarian, the youth activist, successful businessman, just someone who's given back to the community in so many ways. That is none other than our brother, Emmanuele Avraham. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great, sir. This means a lot that you will be on the People's Podcast. My family sends the greetings, and we look forward to learning, your story, sir.
Well, thank you for allowing me to share this time with you and your listening audience, beloved. And prayerfully that something that we will share during this broadcast will carry someone far beyond this dispensation and time.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, the first question that we want to know is, your successful business. What made you go into business?
Well, I was born and raised and taught, well, my parents were taught and they taught me, and I listened to his directions uh, from this little short man who only went through up to a third grade education.
Yes, sir.
And my parents were a part of the original study group of Mosque number 20, Temple 25 then, out of Newark, New Jersey.
Mm.
So we were taught to do for self. And I only knew all my life to be an independent thinker and one that was willing to do for himself and to help others to do for themselves. So I've always been in line with opportunities, legal opportunities that can provide for me and my family and those that surrounded me. So that led to me wanting to be a successful businessman. So it worked out pretty well for me.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, when I was looking at your resume, some of the things that you've done, I had no idea. I want to start with you on Facebook, meeting with the presidents of the United States. Like how did that come about?
Well, what is interesting is back in the mid to late 80s, I was very involved. One of the things that I was very involved with, well, matter of fact, I can go back to the 70s when Jimmy Carter was president.
Mm.
And there was a young man by the name of Ben Brown out of Atlanta who introduced me to President Carter. And they were at that time trying to get President Carter reelected. And I was living in New Jersey. And he was actually the first president of the United States that I met. But then in the mid to late 80s or early 90s, I was involved in Trenton, New Jersey at that time and leading the fight to shut down the crack houses and board them up and help our people get some services that was needed. The drug fight, I'm very passionate towards that
Yes, sir.
because both of my parents were turned into heroin addicts and died of the AIDS virus. And my brother, 1 year older than me, he died of the AIDS virus. And he got more heroin in Royal State Prison in New Jersey than he did on the streets of Newark, New Jersey, where we grew up. And so I always had a passion to really do as much as I can to fight in this war against drugs. And that's one of the times also, I don't know if you were quite born then, Josh, but you probably was just a little old baby running around, and your father was leading the dope busters down in Baltimore, Bmore, and Washington, D.C.,
Mm.
and running the drug dealers out of the public housing and taking their weapons away from them and whatnot to remove this sickness that was existing in our community. So that led to then President Bush, the father, to really inquire about me. And he had the judge, and he's now the federal judge, Judge Reginald Walton, came to New Jersey. toured the city of Trenton, New Jersey, and I was able, as a citizen, not an elected official, I was able to get funding and resources because I went to Washington and actually lobbied and had 6 different agencies come and tour the city of Trenton, New Jersey. And it led to getting the weed and seed in Trenton, New Jersey and other resources. And out of that, President Bush um, created this 1,000 point of light program. And he selected me number 6 and named a day in my honor in this country for my commitment of volunteerism in the country. So that's led to me meeting Bush. And then I had the pleasure to meet and work with President Clinton on the campaign for his wife and Hillary Clinton. And then also I had the opportunity to be there with Barack Obama in Selma, Alabama. And, you know, had a wonderful conversation with him and had also an opportunity to be with his wife and meet Michelle and also Hillary Clinton. So the list just goes on that the master of the universe have always placed me in the midst of great human beings. Now, I've been hugged on and many times meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and also the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, Warif Dean Muhammad, and Jim Brown, and the list, Harry Belafonte, and working with Martin Luther King III and marching with Miss Coretta Scott King. And the list just always went on that the master of the universe saw it fit to continue to place me in position to be with those who were really bringing about change in this world and in our community. The same thing with Rabbi Ben Amin, Prince Asiel Ben Israel, my Abba. I mean, the list just goes on, brother. I just, you know, I could sit here and just go on and on. That kind of opportunity also among with governors, and there's a reason for it, Brother Josh, because we, the select few, the elect among humanity, have to be those individuals that are able to really put some direction and understanding and consciousness in those who claim to be the leaders of our people and to keep them accountable and grounded. So I find that to be my greatest assets.
Wonderful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, so, and I want to thank everybody who's watching, and please continue to watch People's Podcast. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. So please like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. We have a lot of talking points and a lot of questions. I want to go back to your parents. What was that like? Because I'm against drugs like my father and my mother and many of us. But what was that like to deal with them, with heroin?
Well, I always, Brother Joshua, looked at my parents' good because I felt that I represent their good and I come out of their good and not their bad. You know, my parents in the 60s, in the late 50s, and the 60s, along with my uncle Osman Sharif Frank 9X, and my father was Saluddin Frank Watson 2X, and my mother was Sister Sakina. And my brother that died of the AIDS virus, his name was Akbar. And one of the things that I've always looked upon is they're good, but something happened along the way that my family, my parents and my brother became casualties of war. I consider casualties of war because I'm gonna share something with you. When I grew up in the nation in the first, and going to the University of Islam as a young kid, and all I knew was the nation. I didn't know anything else. We was kept in a bubble. And I can recall like walking with my father from 77 Montgomery Street, the projects in Newark, New Jersey, going up West Kinney Street by the food town, hit Springfield Avenue, cut over on Camden Street with my uncle, my father's brother, Uncle Pansy, and just went a few blocks and we smacked into Mosque number 25. And I would be walking with my father and he would say, walk lively, brother, walk lively, brother. And so I'm walking with my dad. I got my little junior FOI uniform on. My father got his FOI uniform on, and I'm just stepping, I'm shining, I'm greased up, baby oil down, and I got my little Muhammad Speaks under my little arm, and I'm just going to hang out with my dad, going. And I always remember sitting up into the balcony and looking down over the power of our people and listening to Minister James Shabazz speak. And so that did something to me. So when my family, and I'm gonna get to you, when my mother and father, my father was, he was a gangster. My mother, she was a gangster. My mother would rob banks and beat up the police in the bank and carry the M16s and the pistols. And my father would do the same. And my brother ended up picking up, in that kind of activity. But when my parents were dying of AIDS, and my brother and I was looking at them, but my mother and father always said to me, because my father, brother, he knew how to read the Quran in Arabic from front to back. He knew how to write in Arabic. He knew how to recite the prayers and whatnot. But he said to me then, and he'd say this to me, he'd say, Samad, because my birth name is Shaheed Samad Watson. And so now my name is Emmanuele Shaheed Samad Watson bin Avraham. So, but the thing is that my father would say to me that we're not going to leave you out here alone. Now he's on his deathbed, and I'm looking at my father withered away. And so when he did make his transition, we had to go and wash his body, and I'm washing my father's body, and the flesh is peeling off on the sponge as I'm washing his body. And I don't know where I got the strength, but I was able to get through washing his body and wrapping him in a sheet and putting the kufi on him and etc. And then, first it was my brother, and then 90 days later, it was my father who passed. And then a year later, my mother passed. And then my brother, Al Tariq, in between all of that, was sentenced to 35 to life plus 35 years for his involvement in criminal activity. So this is the life that I knew. But out of that, they always assured and kept encouraging me to keep my head up and keep moving forward and make something out of your life. So that to me was the inspiration, that my mother and my father was my heroes, and they was my sheroes. My brother, my big brother, he was my number one warrior. I loved him. And so to answer that question, I always saw it as a casualty of war. And why did I say that? Because there was a move in the US government back in the 50s and the 60s to prevent the rise, and J. Edgar Hoover said it best, prevent the rise of the Black Messiah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
And there was a move, and even if you watch the scene in The Godfather, when all the families got together after they killing each other's children and crew members, there was a move to keep the heroin and keep the drugs into the Black community. It didn't end up in the Black community by accident. It was a design.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To keep it in our community. And and then they went on and said, let them lose their souls anyway. So it was always a design in this country. I understand what people saying, Black Lives Matter and this, that. We've been mattering, man, for over 400 years. This ain't nothing new. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So for me, when I see what happened to my parents, then I have to fight to assure that my 7 sons and my daughter are never affected by the curse that destroyed my family or the conspiracy, part of the institutional racism in this country. You see, so, and then also I had issues with that drug that they gave us back then, that AZT. So a lot of people, AZT, a lot of folks didn't die of the virus, they died of that drug. And it's just very interesting, the main doctor part of that drug that killed my parents is also the same doctor a part of COVID-19 this guy Fauci.
Mm, mm.
So when you do the history and you look at the genocides and you look at the well-orchestrated plan to keep drugs and guns into our community and to kill us, then what is it that they are afraid of when you look at Black Lives Matter? Real blackness. So I welcome the new choir members, but we've been at this for a very long time
Yes,
on
sir,
this
yes, sir.
front. We've been at this a very long time. So my point I'm trying to make is that when I look at my parents and I look at my siblings, I look at them as being victims of casualty of war. Sure, we got responsibility. We got to take responsibility for our actions. I'm not blaming that part. But the fact of the matter is, we can never overlook the power of this wickedness that is presently ruling this world, but is coming to an end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful. And thank you all. My sister says, yes, sir. And she's clapping. And both of my sisters are sending you love and the greetings. Okay.
Tell them I love them too.
Yes, sir. And of course, they went to school with your children, and now they're growing up and have children, and you telling me that the twins are going to college, which is amazing. That's amazing. What advice would you give to people who are dealing with family members with addiction or going through addiction themselves?
Well, I always say this to a lot of our young men. I didn't have my father. My father fathered me. He fathered me on the penitentiary yards or in the visiting hall. When my mother mothered me, she mothered me in the woman's penitentiary. The closest I got to Disney World and Mickey Mouse was a picture that they had on the wall for us to take pictures with our loved ones while they was incarcerated. But I never disrespected my father. I never disrespected my mother. I never talked back to them. I never said to my father, you never even took me for a walk in the park. You never came to a PTA meet. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
sir, yes,
never
sir.
took that position. I could have very easily grew up and turned out to be a very angry and rebellious person. But I looked to their good and I understood out of them came me. So I'm a blessing. So then I have to carry and represent their good. So I never look, and so many of these young men today got it twisted because they don't have their father. And then now you got rebellious children that have had their parents in their life, but there's a sickness and a disease and a wicked plan to turn the hearts of the children against the hearts of their parents. So what we're seeing now is nothing new under the sun, brother. But what we're seeing now is a whole nother level of wickedness and evil. So for me, I have always prayed to the master of the universe to guide me and protect me. And I've always been grateful and having gratitude that at least I had a father like I had. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I look to his good. So whenever my father, I go to see him in prison or my mother, and they talk to me, I will never talk back. I would always say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and listen. And I never looked down on it. Do you know when I was a student at Rutgers University in Newark, I worked as a provisional correction officer in Essex County Jail. My father and my brother was on the same prison floor that I was the day room officer in and had to feed them. And my youngest brother, father, was in the control center underneath me, opening and closing the gates, where my father and my brother had to come out their jail cell and I had to feed them their food through the hole. So for me, brother, I look at it that the master of the universe is in control. And my father looked at me when I first time I gave him his tray of food. He said, don't you drop a tear. Keep your head up and keep doing what God has planned for you to do. And that's how he kept talking to me. So steel sharpens steel. So even if I went to the prison to see my father, he was actually, my grandfather always called him his son, and that was Osman Sharik Frank Simmons. He will always tell me, don't you worry, keep and stay in the fight for yourself and our people and being an example, and then God will do the rest.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So my point is, you find a lot of these young brothers and sisters, they want to be angry. They want to dog. They want to not speak to their parents. They want to be rebellious. If their daddy wasn't there, their mama wasn't there, and auntie had to raise them, and grandma had to raise them. Well, they got to understand something. You know, when I became homeless at 13, 14 years old, I was living in abandoned cars, vacant buildings, cardboard houses, asking people, can I sleep in their closet or underneath their bed? I used to meet the janitors at early in the morning, opening up the school. And do you want to know something that I didn't find this out till years later? This janitor that kept opening up the schools, he never asked me my name.
Mm. Mm.
Come to find out, he was the son of my mother's brother's children mother.
Mm.
I mean, he was the son of my mother's brother, wife, mother.
Mm.
And we didn't find that out until after the fact. I had graduated high school then.
Mm. Mm. Yes, sir. Man, but man, I never knew any of this.
Brother, we could stay on for hours. I mean, listen, brother, I could tell you some stuff. I tell you one thing one time, right? But it broke my heart. The FBI raided our home. I was maybe in the 4th grade. They raided my mother's home. They raided our home on South 17th Street across from West Side Park in Newark, New Jersey. So all these FBI agents all raiding the house, got my mother's boyfriend on the floor with pistols to his head, got my mother up against the wall, told the kids to come sit down on the couch. And my mother had me sit on her lap. And then I start feeling something going down in the back of my pants. And she said to me, don't give this to anybody. So when the feds took my mother and her boyfriend and them out of the house, I went upstairs and I took out what she stuffed down the back of my pants. It was like I guess it was like a kilo of cocaine. It was in a big bag, thick. So don't give it to your father, nobody. So I went and I stashed it. And when she got out of prison, when she got bailed out, she came to my school. I was happy to see her. But the first thing she said to me, well, where's that stuff I put in your pants? Now I wanted to, I cried because I was missing my mother. I'm only in the 4th grade. I was going to South 17th Street School. And so it was painful. So I have many, this particular man also, man, you talk about child abuse. Man, folks don't know nothing about child abuse. His name was Vernon, right? And one day I came in the house when the street lights just came on. And he said to me, why didn't you come in here before the street lights came on? I said, I came in here before the street lights came on. That man said, no, you didn't. He made me lay butt naked, Brother Joshua, on the floor. He took a chair, stuck the chair over my back. He stood up at the paper over at the dresser, unwrapped his thing of cocaine, had his little straw, started sniffing it, and then he started beating me with a extension cord. I was laying on the floor, and all I could feel was his foot in my back and him beating me. And I'm crying out for my daddy. I'm crying out for my mom. That man, when he had so much sweat on him, I could feel the sweat dripping off of him down on my back. Then he took like 3 or 4 belts, tied a knot in them. And he was getting, I don't know what, but then he put me in a tub with Epsom salt and hot water. My mother came home. She saw me. And she said to me, and don't you say nothing to nobody. I cried that whole night. I was only like 4th or 5th grade. So I could tell you some stuff, brother, that'll knock your socks off. But the fact of the matter is, here I am, still standing. You follow what I'm saying? So we have to be grateful and understanding why we are still among the living.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Jesus Christ, man. Oh my God. Yes, sir. Well, when I've seen you, always successful, nice cars, nice clothes, and being such a great father to all your children. But I mean, one of your sons was playing sports, and you always there. What made you become such a dedicated father in your children's life?
Well, I didn't have a father to teach me how to be a father. I didn't have a father to teach me how to raise my children. But I looked at it like this. I never want my children to experience. And I asked the master of the universe when every one of my children were born, right there in the hospital, right after they came out of the womb, I lift them up over my head and asked the master of the universe to protect them. And if he will protect them, I will serve you every day of my life. Because I want to remove the curse of what I experienced to assure that my children and any child who come into my midst would never have experience in their childhood or in their upbringing. So for me, I was always, every night my kids would be sleeping and I would, in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and still go in everybody's bedroom, almost every night, and cut on the light and kiss them on their forehead and move the cover over them. I did that consistently. And whenever they come home, as grown as they are, I kiss them. You know, your father taught us something back in the late 70s and 80s. And he always said to the brothers, I love you. Mm-hmm. I love you. You feel what I'm saying? Yes, sir, so that's a certain kind of man of a certain kind of cloth that can look another grown man in the face and it's just straight up man to man. Brother, I love you. Not that I hate you, because we got to get rid of this hate that we have. So for me, with my children, I have always loved them. And as we know, we are taught and we've been taught is that you judge a man by how well he maintains and provides for his family. So for me, I knew with my children that they had to have the total opposite of life than what I experienced. So they coming up, they had a pretty good life. And then there was some tough times and we had to buckle down. And, we withstood it. We withstood it. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying, Josh? I mean, we know how to grits with grits the grits without grits, the oodle with no noodle.
Yes,
you
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
The Kool-Aid with no aid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The sandwich with no sandwich. You know,
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I came up on a sugar sandwich, a ketchup sandwich, a mayonnaise sandwich.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
I didn't have no Kool-Aid or orange juice in the morning. I had sugar water. You know, so we knew how to do that. But I wanted to make certain that my children never experience what me and my family and my siblings had to endure. Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Well, Brother Emmanuel,
Yes, sir.
your son that my sister Naima is very close with, who dances and does theater. You know, we my family is a family of acting and musical talent. How important is that to you to see your children do theater as well?
You know what? It is so amazing. I mean, the only person in theater that I could come, or somebody that's in performing arts, listen here, I ain't trying to play with y'all today, man. I'm just trying to tell you something right now. I ain't trying to hear this. Listen here, America. I ain't playing no games around here. I ain't trying to have that. I ain't trying to hear that now. You know, the only person I came close to was Bernie Mac, right? But, 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 but the thing is, with my children, I never was in theater. But all of my children, I mean, my oldest son, he now could sing. My son under him, my son Nasik Christian, he could sing. My son Emmanuel, I mean, he's into performing arts, and then Elijah, the one who dances with triple threat. I mean, he is on the stage, man. He is a beast. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
my son Eleazar, he's into the tech end of theater. My son Eliakim, I mean, Eliakim graduated from the University of Michigan in 3.5 years with 2 degrees. One as pre-law, and then the other degree is in drama, theater. And I mean, he's a beast on the stage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You find what I'm saying? And then Cadmiel, I mean, he can dance, but that's the football player. You know, he's a lover boy. You know, yeah. And then you got the twins. But I mean, but the thing is that it is so, especially my son Elijah, the one that you're speaking about, it is just so amazing to watch him perform. I mean, I'm just like mesmerized when I watch him. I'm like, that's my son.
Praise be to God. Yes,
you know what I mean? And he travels the world. He's performing again before people all around the world. I mean, he is absolutely phenomenal, and he loves to teach kids. He loves to teach children.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Well, Brother Emmanuel, I have a quick 60-second commercial break, and then we have to come back to some of these people, these amazing people that you've met, and talk about the impact that you've had in the community. We're coming right back. And thank you, Sister Minister Aisha, for sending her love. Both of my sisters, everybody's saying amazing. Thank you for sharing your testimony.
Tell them I said thank them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube, because I know that your testimony is not just inspiring us who are watching right now, but will continue to inspire many of us. Because this whole time I've known you, I'm gonna be honest, Brother Emmanuel, I just thought you was rich, and that was it. Like, I was like, yeah, that brother's cool with my dad. That's a rich brother. That's all I do. Like, the brother got money, wear fur coats, and he dresses well. That's all I do. You know what I'm saying?
And I drive nice cars.
Yes, sir. You drive nice cars. That's all I do, Brother Emmanuel. Yes, sir. If you all like to be a sponsor or donor of the People's Podcast, please cash out the People's Podcast to keep this amazing testimonies coming. My brother Rashad, Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Thank you very much. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please go out and get those. My sister Naima teaches dance. Stay on Point Dance Academy LLC. She teaches dance virtually to young women all across the country. We love our tiny dancers right here in the studio of Atlanta, Georgia. She teaches ballet as well. Our brothers out of the West Coast, MTS Car Bros, any make, any model, any year, 30 to 50% off. They'll ship vehicles to you anywhere in the country. Sister Rashida Rafat, Rock Communications. She offers copy editing, project management, content development, media relations, and consulting. If you're working on a book, please reach out to Rock Communications. Thank you very much. Our sisters out of Houston, Texas, Sister Melville Muhammad, The Elevated Places, Where I Am What God Says I Am. They do an amazing job teaching the young children to be kings and queens out of Houston, Texas. Asiatic Minds online school, asiaticminds.com, launching this fall. If you want your children to go to school virtually, Asiatic Minds raising young kings and queens. We're coming right back to our brother Emmanuel. Brother Kenneth Muhammad, bow tie maker extraordinaire, right out here of Atlanta, Georgia. Ship bow ties to you all anywhere across the country. WFM Law Firm, helping our clients get injuries, get your help back during injuries who are dealing with intubation and anesthesia. The law office of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad. Please call 1-800-397-7760, WFMlawfirm.com. Thank you very much. Dr. Henry M. Carter right here in Atlanta, Georgia, King Henry's Turkey Legs. Brother Rashad Muhammad out of Chicago, Illinois, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much. Right back to our brother with his amazing testimony, Brother Emmanuel. Yes, sir. Okay, so for you, speaking of books and my father's books and my, all of the books that we are working on, will you ever write a book, sir?
I wrote a very wonderful small pamphlet book. It's about 100 pages, and it's entitled "Why I Still Love My Mommy." And I was thinking just the other day, I think I need to go back and have some more printed up again and push that because it's a wonderful presentation on why I still love my mom.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so you spoke about all of the presidents that you met and your interactions with them. What advice would you give to people to be able to be successful, to be around the presidents of this country and still care about Black people? Like, how do you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
well, the thing is, Brother Joshua, I don't find no glory being around them. I find glory being around people that I can touch every day. And that's feeling the same pain and suffering that I'm feeling. See, I never disconnected from the pain and suffering of our people and in our community. I mean, so for me, and those, and I've always assured, because I'm a very unselfish person, that I always assured that the people who surround me is benefiting from the blessings that I'm able to receive. See, I'm more of a giver than I am a receiver.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You follow what I'm saying? And I find joy in giving more so than in receiving. But most people don't really understand how important that is. So, but for me, I believe that the master of the universe placed me in those positions for a reason.
Yes, sir. Yes,
not to celebrate them folks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes, I ain't gonna, not to celebrate no politician. No, he put me there for a reason to open up doors so that, just like when we were in New Jersey and at first me and Jim Brown was partners for 7-8 years, and then Martin Luther King III became a part of my prison reform. But the folks in the penal institution and in the government saw that we were only minority. We was a nonprofit. We were only minority contractor.
Mm.
You follow me? I mean, period. That everybody else was white that was benefiting from the benefit of our people being incarcerated in the prison.
Mm.
But what we were doing, and our rate of recidivism was so low. Our rate of recidivism, brother, was 2.5% after 2 to 3 years of being released. And the state of New Jersey's rate of recidivism was like 42% within 6 weeks to 3-4 months. But they saw that the impact that we were having, man, they had to find any and every excuse possible to shut us down. And so that happened. But the fact of the matter is that I have always been a brother that stayed connected to my people. And I always kept people around me that didn't mind telling me what was on their mind. So it's all about who you open this here vehicle to, your ear, and listen, because you got to be careful about the whisper, because the whisperer will come and whisper something in your ear to take you off course.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
And that is what happens with so many of our people that get into these positions. That I'm a grassroots guy, man. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir. Yes, sir.
I love humanity, but man, ain't nothing like for me being around some good black folks. And the beautiful thing about being down here in the South, baby, man, you meet some good country black folks, man. You understand, bro? You understand, bro?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
man, you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Hey, come on over here. You know, they just waving at you. Hey, how you doing? But the point of the matter is, I just love serving my people and my community. I'm a lover of humanity. But more importantly, I see black every day. I live black. So no matter, I could have easily took the life when I made a couple of million and said, I'm out of here. I don't have nothing to do with y'all folks no more. Man, I stayed with my folks. And I ain't never leaving my folks. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So people can't talk to me about, what are you gonna tell me, man? I came from eating out of garbage cans to riding Bentleys. But I ain't do nothing but ride Bentley right around my people. It's like when I moved here to Atlanta, I never took my cars and went up to Buckhead to see the movie. I went to Magic Johnson Theater, Greenbrier, over in Greenbrier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I belong with my folks. That's when Black lives really matter. So we have to get to the point that if we see injustice, even from police brutality, or we see one of us kill one of us, oh man, no, we can't have that no more. We can't have it no more, Josh. I mean, we just cannot give a pass any longer to this foolishness. And it's sad that we see that 100 and some people shot in Chicago over the 4th of July. Brother, we got to stop this foolishness.
Yes, sir. But brother Emmanuel, what type of music do you like to listen to?
Oh man, bro. I see you got Michael Jackson behind you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
see you got MC Hammer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I see. I think that's a little Earth, Wind, and Fire. I thought I saw some Stevie Wonder. I see some Whitney Houston.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm an R&B, jazz, classic. You know, I like some classic music once in a while.
Yes, sir.
I can't get with some of this degrading stuff. Every other word is a cuss word. I can't. I just can't feel that vibe, brother.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
you know, I ain't a country music guy. I love some blues. You know, some real down home blues.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
know, I love some blues. I love some R&B. R&B helped me out. I made some kids on R&B. Some whispers in Howard Melvin and Blue Notes helped me out. Hey, Josh, maybe that's why I got 7 sons.
Maybe that's why you got 7 sons. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It had to be. It had to be. You know, little Barry White and what was it? Turn out the light.
Turn out the lights. Yes, sir. Some Teddy P. You gotta have some Teddy
That's
P
right.
there. Wonderful. And some people are showing you love in the comments saying this is amazing. What do you do for fun, Brother Emmanuel?
What I do for fun? Well, I never had any vices.
Mm.
And when I say that is, I never drunk alcohol in my life.
Mm.
I never, how the minister said, I never smoked no reefer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I never been to a titty bar.
Mm.
I saw no, I think that's one of the most degrading, inhumane thing that so many brothers see today as entertainment for Black women to wear a piece of thread up there behind and for them to have stacks of money and just flashing it on their behind and they get a lap dance or whatever. I've never been in one of them. Never. That's not my cup of tea, partner. I would never degrade the Black woman like that. I would tell her to go put some clothes on, dress modestly, save your jewels for that man that becomes your husband. So I never messed with drugs. I never smoked cigarettes. So the devices for me, really, brother, has been serving the divine, coming home, relaxing in my home with my family, going on trips with my wife and just spoiling her. Because you know, no man can rise any higher than his woman.
That's right.
That's real talk, partner.
Yes,
that's real talk. I told my wife, I'm not calling you queen no more. Queen is beneath you. You a virtuous woman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand? See, the virtuous woman far exceeds a queen. And there's very few sisters that can reach that level to be a virtuous woman. So for me, I find enjoyment with my family and friends, just sitting around. You know, I love to watch movies.
Okay, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie to watch?
Oh man, bruh. You know, I can dance a little bit.
Okay.
So I mean, I could do the hustle and the Latin dances and stuff like that. But
yes, sir.
I love old movies that come on. I mean, I guess The Godfather. I used to love The Godfather.
Yes, sir.
I just used to love The Godfather. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. I used to love The Godfather. I love some Westerns. So when I relax, I like to sit down and watch some movies and just relax all day and meditate. And then next thing you know, I'm up studying. You know, I can't, a day can't go by that I can't put no study in it. I got to study 2-3 hours a day. I got the minimum. I got to study, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of your study, Brother Emmanuel, I sent a picture of some of the video of you and your wife making a pilgrimage to Israel. And how was that?
Well, you know, the Prince Asiel and Rabbi Ben Amin, back in 1992, 94, was when my wife and I went to Israel and we got married again. That was our second wedding, was in Jerusalem. And it was in the community. That's right. There's a huge community. It looked like us.
Yes, sir.
Just like us. And we got married on the Kifa, the Village of Peace. And since then, my children and I and my wife, we go back and forth. We love Israel, the land. I ain't talking about the politics, but the land, and it belongs to us.
That's right.
I mean, I'm just saying, being very honest. Our forefathers, it belonged to us. Everybody there, hey, y'all came from somewhere else.
That's right.
Our forefathers, I'm just telling it like it is. I mean, the scripture is clear about even people who convert, they get the same privilege of people who were born into it. So most folks don't understand that. But the point of the matter is that we were taken away from it.
Yes, sir.
Against our will.
That's right.
So, you know, and that's why before COVID, me and my wife went to Africa and went to Senegal and went to Dakar to the door of no return. And we stood in the doorway to say we have returned. So, and we stood in the doorway for our children, for my parents and our parents here in America that say this seed has returned to
Yes,
the
sir.
land. You follow what I'm saying? So when you speak of Israel, brother, I promise you, because I get in the car when I get there now, and I rent a car, and I go from the north to the south of Israel, and I just love the land. I love the sacredness of it. I don't get involved in the politics. I leave that to everybody else.
Yes,
That's
sir.
not my duty. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
going
sir.
there. I'm going there to just reclaim what I was taken away from.
Mm, mm, mm. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Okay, so
I gotta take you one day. Get your passport,
man,
and
let's make
take
it
you on
happen.
over there. Yes,
Let's make it
sir.
happen.
Yes,
Yes, sir. I would
sir.
like to go. Now, what's some fun to do there? Like what? Like is it amusement parks? Is it like?
What?
I don't
Bruh,
know. I don't know.
let me tell you something, man. One time, me and my wife and a very dear sister of mine, Seema, who lives in Israel, we went and my daughter Peaches, she was there, yeah, and we went to the land, and she took us to this hot springs, right, with a boiling water just coming up out the ground, and
Yes,
and it's just absolutely amazing. You can go to we call it the Sea of the Living, which they call the Dead Sea, where the Israeli government got pipelines drawing the minerals out of it. I mean, you go and float in this water. I remember I had a cut on my finger, brother. I floated into the Dead Sea. When I came out, the cut was healed. And the minerals are that powerful, because people are from all over Europe. They come there because they got skin cancer, skin disease. So they come there to soak into the Dead Sea. Now you can't swim. No fish can live in the Dead Sea. You float. It takes your feet, the power of the water, so that you floating in the water. I mean, and you just floating, and when you get out, it feel like you've been in a tub of baby oil. Right now, today. And the beautiful thing, even with my children, my sons, they even go to Israel now on their own. They love Israel. I mean, the food is different, the agriculture is different. It is the land of milk and honey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Without question. I mean, it really is. I mean, it really, I promise you that. I mean, everything is, you taste grapefruits out of there, and it'll bring shame to a sun-kissed orange here in the States, in Florida. The grapefruits are sweet. I mean, so it is so much to do, from hiking, from farming to you got the ocean. You go down into Eilat, the southern end of Israel, and there you are, Israel in the middle. You got, to the right of you is the Egyptian border, like under a mile away. The Jordanian border is on the left side of you, and then Saudi Arabia is next to that. So it's so much throughout the land. I mean, like, just even the historical thing, like, now this is what's interesting, Josh, when you go to the city of Jericho, right? You go to enter the city of Jericho, and there's a prison. When you come into the city of Jericho, right to the left is a prison. And then you go into the city of Jericho. I mean, brother, it is so much that you can do in Israel that is just endless. So, I mean, outside of the politics, when you look at the beauty of the land, and I mean, and the beautiful thing is that for Shabbat, the whole country shuts down. So it's barely a car even on the road from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So it's just, it forces you to just chill. You know, so it's and then you come, and when you're going up into, can you imagine going into the same mountains that Abraham, Avraham, or Moses, Musa, Moshe was up in, and they walk along them trails, and if you think on your brother, it's a whole nother piece.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the People's Podcast, sir. Please give the greeting to your wife and your children. And I can't believe every time I see you post them, I'm like, man, I watched them at Blackstone. Like, I watched them, like, it's just stripped out to become so successful. That's like you're an amazing father, sir. Your family is beautiful. We admire your family. Everybody on social media who sees it, we admire you all, the great work that you all are doing. Please continue to do the great work, sir. And thank everyone who's watching. I have one more question for you, Brother Emmanuel. What would you like your legacy to be, sir?
You said what?
What would you like your legacy to be?
Wow. I would say that my children will look back at their father and say he ran a magnificent race. He did an amazing job. And that they will look at my good as I looked at my parents' good. And they too will do good for themselves, for their family, their community, and more importantly, that they will serve and fear the master of the universe and everything that they do. I want to thank you. I know that your mother is looking down and smiling upon her baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your father is a very happy man because of what you're doing in your service and using music in the industry to reach out to people and help change their life, even in theater, and have an impact in the message of what you're putting together on the stage. I want to thank your listening audience for sharing this time and to listen to me and you have this beautiful conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm so grateful that you invited me on. And I thank you for honoring my wife.
Oh, yes,
that's brother, that's my heaven.
Yes, sir.
That woman, brother, as we used to say back in the day, brother. You know, and so that's why, you know, like me and my wife is doing this thing, and people can like our page at Marriage Motivating Moments, because we're going to be launching it because we now at 30 years of being married. And matter of fact, next Saturday, the 17th, will be 30 years, that exact date that I met her. 30 years ago on July 17th at 8:34 p.m. in New Brunswick, New Jersey, is when I met her, when me and Reverend Al Sharpton came up to fight against a police brutality case on a young brother, Sean Potts, who was shot in the back, and the police officer said that his foot went through a box and his gun discharged. And you killed this brother in the alleyway? Okay, well, that's another discussion. Sounds very familiar today, right?
Yes, sir.
But I'm just so grateful that God has allowed us to be here right now and to witness his glory and what he is doing and shaking up this planet.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's what I'm so grateful about. And I thank you once again for allowing me to share. Yes, sir.
It's my honor. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. And thank you again, Brother Emmanuel. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Shalom, shalom.